All right, Big Bang. Today is Wednesday. It is May 28th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Before I get into today's free swim, I want to talk about ChevyDriveChicago.com. It's a new season, but it's always truck season at your local Chevy dealer. ChevyDriveChicago.com has all of the information you need to research your future Chevy truck and locate a dealer near you. Maybe you're looking for something a little smaller for summer street parking. The Chevy lineup of SUVs has all great styles at great prices. You'll look good and feel good about what you're driving. If an EV is what you need, your local Chevy dealer is ready to take you for a test drive and show you all of the latest technology in these top-tier electric SUVs. Danny, you're due for an upgrade, right?
I'm due for a whole new car. I'm starting to get embarrassed about my car. It's so old. The first place I'm turning to is honestly Chevy. I just have to get to it first.
Yeah, anything that kind of particularly catches your eye, is it?
I would like one of the bigger ones if I could choose.
Okay.
What do you got, Chief? The
Blazer.
Blazer. Blazer's nice. I like that color too, but I also don't want to
you.
get the same exact car as Chief. So
I go
Why not?
Equinox then. Go Traverse if you want to go a little bigger.
okay, I'll
3
get
rows.
Traverse so I could body Chief.
Captain seats, yeah.
I don't think you're bodying me. I'll take Blazer's top line. Me and PFD have it for a reason.
PFT and I.
Damn it.
Head to ChevyDriveChicago.com to learn more and find your dealer
I
today.
almost want to walk out of the studio.
Oh, that's awesome. That's the first bodying in an ad read maybe ever had. All right, how's everybody doing? Good weekend, long weekend.
Long weekend. I did ACDC. Drank the days before and after that. I really just gave it my all this holiday weekend.
How was that?
ACDC rocked. I didn't know what to expect. Did you go?
No.
I know our guy Lance went.
I was there.
A lot of people went.
Yeah.
Wonton Don was there.
I'm a classic. Like it's tough for me to name 5 songs, but they played probably like the first 6. They played 4 like of the ones I knew. I was like, oh, where do we go from here? Turn all the lights down now. Yeah, that was the encore, I believe. That rocked.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But then they what's the Angus Young ripped like a couple 15-minute solos, and the whole thing turned into a light show. And
Yeah, he did some Eddie Van Halen. Like it sounded like where he's not even like strumming, he's just using like his top fingers up there, and he went for 20 minutes. And I feel like they don't talk about him as one of the great guitar players. He is insane. At like 70 years old, he shredded for 20 minutes. It was insane.
That sounds awesome.
Lance went with his stepdad, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, he's like a kind of a buttoned up Scottish dude, you know? He's like a clean cut Scottish guy, loves ACDC. Throw a couple Miller Lights in him. He was rocking out. It was awesome. It was hilarious.
And I was sandwiched in between Donnie Does and Mega Making Money, so just quite the crew all around.
How did that happen?
I got asked like months ago. Greer and his bachelor party. Greer's our data guy. He's been on this show before. We're in Chicago, and he had a couple extra tickets. But PFT also got drunk one night and bought a bunch of amazing seats, and so I wound up in that group along with like Donnie Does, Mega Making Money, Beef, and some randoms. So that's how that happened.
No, that's like the weirdest crew I think I've
Yeah.
ever heard.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you
And
guys.
Lance's stepdad.
That's kind of were you guys near each other?
No, not at all.
No, I did see Tom, though. I ran into Greer, too. I was close to
It
them.
was a damn different weather where Lance was.
Nice. It's kind of a bummer. I feel like this is a weak slate for concerts this summer.
The
Yeah.
Wrigley lineup
It's
stinks.
not good.
Yeah. So,
They just had Post Malone and
Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll. That's probably the best one too.
oh, you're not a Jonas Brothers guy?
Not a Jonas Brothers
Yeah,
guy. Not a
me
Chris
neither.
Brown guy. I like some of Chris Brown's songs, but
For
I would
sure.
never like. It's not a guy I would go see in concert.
Yeah, but if it's at Wrigley, I might. I've seen Maroon 5 at Wrigley.
But
I feel like Maroon 5 would be better than
Oh yeah, there was like one song I didn't know. I swear.
Yeah, dude, I've
and
seen
he took
Maroon
his shirt
5.
off. Oh.
yeah, he likes doing that. And then even Soldier, it's like AC/DC, and then the weekend before I think was Beyonce maybe.
Yeah, it was.
So like some big names, and then I just looked it up. The Weeknd's this weekend. That was weird to say.
Wait, say it
The
again.
Weekend. The
Oh.
Weekend.
Yeah, I
plays
don't,
the
I
Soldier
don't,
this
I don't,
weekend.
I don't fuck with him after the Drake beef. But
And then Oasis, but that's kind of
Oasis
it.
That's a
is
great
huge.
Yeah,
I almost treat it like Wrigley concerts. Like I don't really care who the Cubs are playing. I'm gonna go to a game. I don't necessarily care who's performing. A Wrigley concert's a Wrigley concert, unless it's like a Lady Gaga where I'm just gonna get trampled to death. And
I feel like I'd rather go see Lady Gaga than Jonas Brothers.
I feel like Jonas Brothers would just be more chill, like the fandom wise.
Oh,
like
so
I
you
could
don't
maybe
think it's
blend
gonna
in.
be just like young girls.
Yeah, but same with Maroon 5, and that was fine. And Fall Out Boy, I went to that. That was great.
I went to when I went to Smokeout. What was the year that Zach Bryan headlined the Thursday?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and I was right down in front, but I was near, like surrounded by maybe 8, 10, 14, 13, 14-year-old girls who were shrieking. And like ruined the experience. So like that will stay with me forever, where I feel like if I'm going to a concert and there's a high chance of like the teeny bopper screaming girls that are going to be in the audience, and I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. But previous years, like Elton John.
Yeah.
I mean, Taylor obviously is not
Billy
on tour
Joel.
anymore. Billy Joel. Who else do we have there recently? I mean, Kenny plays there every summer.
Yeah.
He's not there this summer.
That's crazy. I
Yeah.
wonder what's going on.
I think he got the Sphere. So I think he's there all summer. I
Okay.
think Dave just went.
Chief's going to end up going to Chris Brown, getting a lap dance on stage from him, whatever he does.
Who gives?
Oh, yeah.
Chris
He
Brown does?
has like crazy meet and greets where he's like making out with girls in front of their boyfriends and shit.
That's wild.
Pass. Yeah.
That's wild. It looks like Tinley has a couple good ones, which I'm sure. I'm
Finley's
just saying,
a
like,
fucking hike though.
for sure, and like I'm sure all the smaller venues are gonna have good acts too. But I'm saying like Wrigley and Soldier,
For the A-list big venues.
two big
is-
boppers. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm trekking to Tinley if I don't like the band that much.
Tedeschi trucks at
Yes.
Northerly Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Goo Goo Dolls dashboard. I'm going to that.
Yeah.
You know, but
Dashboard Confessional,
yeah,
first ever concert.
We did have All American Rejects just here.
yes,
So
yeah, we did have that.
cross that off the list.
Yeah, kind of a weird summer slate. If I
Yeah.
do say so. People will probably disagree with me.
And
Yeah.
I feel like, well, we'll see. Even though like the Windy City Smokeout, it's a good lineup,
But it's
Yeah.
But don't like 2 years ago was so
it was
strong.
insane. Yeah.
They even had I forget what the exact name is, but it's like the Latin Fest in Grant Park.
Sueños, I think it's called.
Sueños. Shakira headlined that.
That's awesome.
Whoa.
Yeah, I thought she was in jail.
Yeah, what did she do?
Tax evasion.
Tax evasion? No,
Just got to work it off somehow.
she's okay.
I mean, she was looking at years, but
Was she?
power to her.
Did she do anything?
She lied.
Her hips don't
Her
lie.
hips lied.
Her hips don't lie. Yes. Yeah. So good weekend. Anything else or no?
I did the Cubs game
Nice.
on Monday, so
Yeah, I
you were
went
there
to-
too.
Dude, I still haven't gone to a Cubs game this year, which
Damn.
is insane of me.
I was late in the
You know
game,
what?
too.
Wait for summer because it's still
I know.
not
Well, that's
here.
what I've been doing.
I was freezing in that game.
Yeah.
It was very.
We're in a bad spot right now.
Yeah.
We're just fluctuating between
I
like
know.
55 and 50, but you look out your window, it's so sunny. You're like, oh, this has to be the day where it's like 70.
Is it bad that I'm getting like a sick joy out of it though?
I-
For all these transplants who are all like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and I'm like, "Yes."
Dude, yeah, but like we were at
It's not going to be warm until like next week is when it starts getting warm.
we were at PFT's pre-gaming the ACDC, and like got to a point where it's like I had asked for a hoodie. I was like, "Yo, can I borrow a part of my take hoodie for this concert? Because it's gonna ruin my damn day."
Oh,
Since
yeah.
it just dropped like 15 degrees out of nowhere.
If you're not packing a hoodie at some point, like in your car, or if you're not bringing it with you somewhere, you're underprepared.
You got to
Yeah.
get one of those Robacks.
Yes, it's on you. Yeah, you do got to get on one of those Robacks. That's what I had this weekend. I was had people over for a barbecue. My friend was like, "Oh, I'm cold," and just tossed them a Roback.
There you go.
Very appreciative.
Nice of you.
But yeah, you get a sick joy out of it. So the out of towners are saying.
I kind of do.
But
guys?
I've explained to all of them like
But they don't believe. Like it's almost like they don't believe in Bloody Mary until she shows up in your window.
I think to their defense, like it's been explained a little poorly to them by shout out Dante or people of that nature. Yeah. We're not saying it's. I've said this before. Sorry, I'm repeating it. We're not saying we're the coldest of the cold. You know, we're just saying that we get disappointed because it should be 70 right now and it's like between 45, 50. It just lasts longer and that's more annoying. It brings you up just to build you down.
Am I having like a Mandela effect about the weather though? Because I do feel like May used to be warm. Like Derby Day used to be pretty warm.
Everything's pushed back a month now, I think.
Well, like when did
September's
that
a lot
start?
warmer.
Yeah.
I think
October can be hot now.
Yeah, I think that's just kind
Goes
of
back to my theory.
Yeah, but you are right. I can't remember like having a Memorial Day weekend kind of like we had this year weather-wise.
Yeah,
It wasn't freezing, but it was definitely like in the 70s the past
I feel like
couple
it's been like
years.
the last 5 years has kind of been like that. It's like a more mild like depth of winter, and then it's just like colder for longer.
You got to be loving this though, right? This is
No, I do. I was like wishing I was. So I was like 228 or something like that at the Cubs game. So we were just under the overhang on the first base side.
Yeah.
Never got in the sun, and the wind was blowing in pretty good that day. It was cold. Like if I had been like 10 more rows up, I would have had a lovely day. But like if I go to a Cubs game, I'd like to not be like, I need a jacket.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
So
there was.
This is why we need my 2 Januaries idea.
Explain one more time.
We have to have like global daylight savings, where instead of setting the clocks back, you got to set the whole calendar back. So 1 year, we just got to bite the bullet. We got to have 2 Januaries. So, and then everything else. So then May will be like what June is, and like back to normal. Everything gets bumped back.
Or we could just reset our expectations.
No, I want things the way that I want them, and I want May to be warm. And then if I have to have 2 Januaries 1 year to do that, then I'll do 2 Januaries.
Like, I mean, the whole world doesn't revolve around Chicago, but Memorial Day is just a pick day, right? As far as I know.
Like,
there's not
like what's the origin story?
Yeah, like there's not
know.
like a major battle or something that happened that day, from what I understand. Just move that shit to June.
They said April Fool's Day used to be the old like New Year's, because that's when they would want to restart everything because of spring.
Oh,
and then they would call those people fools because once they like outlawed it, said no, it's January now. There were certain people who wouldn't convert to that. They're like, no, April is still the start of the new year for us, and then they got called fools. That's a little chief fact for you.
I like that.
Switching roles here.
that is.
It says it was made in 1868 to honor Union soldiers who died in the Civil War.
So no real
They
reasoning
didn't
for
say
having
why
it in May.
Yeah.
Veterans will be fine if we move things around a little.
Yeah. Move the Derby to the first weekend of
It is
June.
believed the date was chosen because flowers would be in bloom all over the country.
Revolve it around us.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah,
One
but
time.
But I think everybody's suffering from this. I don't think people
Hey.
at Fagawi and Nantucket this weekend were like loving the weather.
Yeah, it does feel like everywhere's feeling it. Like
Yeah.
even talking to people on the East Coast. I'm going to Boston tomorrow, and looking at the weather, Cape Cod, it doesn't look great.
Yeah. So this is what I mean. Like if we want to continue to exert American, like what we say goes, be like, hey, fuck you, hey, whole world, we're doing 2 Januaries. Get on board.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
What about the idea of having like warm Halloweens though? How does that appeal to you?
Uh,
But I'm usually ready for like the change at that point.
Same, but I think we just have to mentally shift to be like, you know what? Halloween can now be like a patio drinking holiday.
yeah, like to me, it's always like I have a few indicators, and an indicator in the fall has now become the wild card series. It used to be the game with it's just the extra team. The Cubs play the Pirates.
Yeah.
That's like the first day. It's like early
It's early
October, and like
like October 3rd at the latest for
you're
that
seeing
game.
some leaves on the ground, just
Yeah.
a few, and then obviously Halloween follows thereafter. But I'm enjoying them having this weather because they're like,
What's that called when you
They're just-
enjoy other people's pain? It's like a German word.
I don't even know. Should we ask Dave? He knows. I bet. I have a question about this too, because we don't have an on or off the leash today, but
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude,
Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
that's what it's called.
Means you enjoy the harm and damage of other people. That's you.
So I've always been one of those guys who's a sucker for round up if you want to donate to this charity, or at $1, whatever, at the Walgreens.
Great
at the
system.
drive-thru.
Jewel,
Yes.
yeah.
It's a great system. Yes, Jewel, exactly. So I always do it, typically like 98% of the time. I was told that those places just collect that money and then they donate it as like, or they don't, like, you don't get how can I put this? I'm explaining this very shitty, and I'm realizing that, like, they already donate a certain amount of money and then you're just like throwing it back in their pot. Is that true?
I don't know exactly what you're saying. I know that this is like a big controversy, and I think like when the Barstool Fund was going, it was part of that too, where there's a lot of these like world-renowned like charities that you know the name, and it's like 10% of the money that they collect goes to the actual cause, and 90% goes to like employ the people running the charity. So it's just like it's a business.
This is what I did. Sorry, I explained that very poorly. It's not a slush fund of people donating their things and they donate that. It's like, say if it's like so-and-so company cuts a check for $1 million, like we just donated to this charity, then they're just collecting to make the money back. Well, it's like, no. Like you're the company, like you obviously probably have a certain amount of money that you should donate to or you're donating to charity. Like that should come from your bottom line.
Yeah, then they write it off as a tax.
Yes, not be slushed from people to kind of recoup
That's
that
bullshit
fund.
if that's what they're doing.
That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true. Can anyone out there confirm or deny that?
It's probably true. Like
It sounds true. Everything's a fucking racket.
That's crazy.
Everything's a racket.
Isn't that?
Yes.
yeah, I guess, but like it's not. They're not like really doing it in an illegal way, right?
But
It's like you technically kind of are donating. I don't know.
But that's like one of those things where like I don't want to have to read the fine print. So if you're collecting, let's say it's $1 million over a year or whatever from people rounding up their change on their item, and then you get the credit for doing the donation, but then you turn around and write it off, so it's $1 million off of your taxes, and so it's really just extra income. If it's being done the way that you're saying, that's what that is.
Yeah, because
that's a fucking racket.
Because there's a difference between, December 31st being like, hey, and I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying they do this. I'm also hyper scared of this stuff now based on current things. Just saying, like, say if there's a grocery store, say the grocery store is called Juno, and they're like, all right, Juno shoppers, you have donated $3.1 million to charity based on your roundups or dollars at the whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, if it's not like, hey, like we're getting the credit for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they're like, hey, at whatever January 1st, they're like, hey, we have donated $5 million towards this charity, and then all they're doing, all those dollars, just slush it back into that fund to recoup that $5 million. That's fucking crazy.
I agree. And then it would also, I wish it was like, hey, let's say it is some random grocery store where it's like, not only is it not going to the corporate version of that, it's going to be in that local area, and you're donating to make sure everybody has like food on Thanksgiving and Christmas. I would feel much better about that. So it's like they control the supply chain for the things, and it's like, hey, we raised $1 million, so we're going to be able to feed X amount of people in your general area, your state, your city, whatever. Like I would feel much better about that than some like, hey, we gave it to some other charity who's going to take their slice of it and distribute it, and it's like it's out of your community too.
Yeah, but it's like we could still like rightfully say we were kind of donating, right? If they're asking us like round up.
Yes.
It's just a matter of like it's me being like, okay, I guess I did something good today, or at least I thought I was.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, I don't mind doing it, but as long as those companies are donating as well.
Yeah, don't lie to me.
That's all I care about. Like fucking the Taco Bell College Fund, like if they're donating, that's what their roundup system is for.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes towards employees to go to college.
What are they doing?
I like that.
What are they doing with those quarters that we were putting in the game machine?
Yeah, I don't know. That just who knows what that goes to.
Some employees are splitting that. Our wishes at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah, but I don't know. I was stunned by that when I heard that, and it made me think twice about it because I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, back to you guys know the Taco Bell game I'm talking about?
Yes.
No.
That you would put a quarter in, and I think it would depend on like which level or which color it was. You wouldn't win anything. It was just pride. Like, oh, I got it on the orange one. Oh, I got it on the other one. We need more games like that. They had the system. That's like you might as well be. That's basically an arcade game when there's never a prize.
I don't know why they got rid of that.
I'm sure you could find it in some rare ones,
like the old school ones.
There was never even like a prize for that, right?
No.
I thought if
there
you
was.
land on like an orange one, you get like a free taco or something.
You probably get the
jackpot.
cinnamon
A
twist.
free cinnamon twist. Yes, exactly. That's what it was. Yes, it wasn't like a cash prize, but you did win some food. They got to bring that back. You have no idea what we're talking
I've never been inside a Taco Bell.
Oh yeah, he's probably never eaten it. But yeah, every fast food place should have something like that.
Yeah. What else is on your list that you still never had? I remember it was crazy at one point.
Arby's, Taco Bell.
Wow.
You had your first Pop-Tart on the air.
On the
Yeah,
air.
and,
Five years ago.
and Capri Sun, right?
No, I had a Capri Sun, I think.
Oh, I thought
yeah.
it was some sort of
Um,
very common drink.
yeah. I don't know. There's like a long.
Kool-Aid? Have you had Kool-Aid?
I have not had Kool-Aid.
No.
No.
Are you scared of it, or just have since?
It was like no, like Taco Bell and Arby's. I'm like, that doesn't look appetizing to me. I'm not necessarily afraid of Kool-Aid. It just
You love Mexican food, though.
I love Mexican food. I love Mexican food.
Yeah. Speaking of, I'm having a chain restaurant analyst on the show tomorrow. Pretty interesting. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like what? Can I ask what company does he work for? He oversees all that. Not oversees.
He works for a restaurant journal. I forgot exactly what it was. Sorry, but yeah, he's the editor in chief of a restaurant. So he's on all these earnings calls and he's telling me who's the king right now, is it chicken or beef? That it was very interesting. Up and coming chains. Who's
It
the
is
big
crazy
chains.
how it's chicken's growing. Chicken's been around fucking forever.
Yeah.
So it's just different marketing.
Spoiler alert: chicken is the king right now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm not surprised to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you think of the chicken sandwiches, sure, those
Yeah.
really took off for a lot of places. But when I'm thinking Chipotle, I'm rarely ever going chicken.
Oh, see, I normally go chicken at Chipotle.
We are not alike.
Yeah, and I also feel I remember watching the college football, the SEC championship or the Sugar Bowl, and them having Chick-fil-A ads all over, and never having seen a Chick-fil-A. I'm like, what the fuck is a Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
And then now they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So they really did boom out of the Southeast.
That's the old Sonic joke, right? Remember
Yeah,
the Sonic
that too.
commercials?
Yeah, but there was always one sort of near me.
Was there?
Yeah,
On St. Charles.
Palatine.
There was one in Palatine always.
Yep.
yeah, and I think there was one somewhere Batavia, I think too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating, right? Lance, I don't know how much you've heard of it because Jacob was in here, but
Yeah, so I've gone through it a bit. It is, I think, if everyone's aware of that stuff, when you hear it, you're gonna be like, "Oh, this is awesome." Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah,
that's the thing. I was like, what is he going to title us? Fast food expert? They're just going to think it's me and Clem talking about it,
It's still tune in.
Exactly. This
Yeah.
guy's just an analyst.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on the Papa John's crazy call.
Oh, really?
He was
Okay.
on that, so he gets into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, without spoiling anything, you think you remember when like I said, the chicken sandwiches really took off. It's
Yeah.
Popeyes has theirs, so now everyone has to have their own.
Yeah.
And even back when sea salt on the fries became a thing with Wendy's, now we all have to reinvent our fries some way.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, we get into a lot of that shit. There's a chain. I'm gonna keep this as a tease that made an awesome chicken sandwich, but then it was too hard for places to make, the franchisees to make, and they had to get rid of it.
Really?
Kind of ruined their
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of bullshit. I would be pissed where it's not fast food chains, but even Pepsi comes out with vanilla Pepsi, now Coke comes out with vanilla Coke.
Yeah.
So, well, that was kind of our idea.
Yeah, but dude, everything is such a copycat league.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Remember when who the biggest example of that was how Instagram just stole Snapchat's bar for bar.
Stories or
Yes.
yeah.
Like
Because that was
that was Snapchat.
that was
Yes.
stories, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Snapchat was stories.
So there's just no way to patent that, huh?
I don't think so.
I think you can patent the code, but then you just have different code that does the same thing
Yeah.
and you're good to go.
Yeah, I feel
I don't think you can patent a chicken tender.
right. I feel
Yeah.
we've kind of had this talk though, but it's when you're inventing stories like Snapchat was, you have to just be thinking ahead, knowing that everyone's going to copy this. So how do we off the bat make it better than?
I mean,
Yeah.
they try to do the same thing with Reels for YouTube and TikTok
Yep.
and Instagram.
They
And
took Reels and
Yeah.
then they made Threads.
Yeah.
That is Meta's just
Meta is
no shame.
yeah.
No
But
shame.
none of them have stories worked. But I
Mhm.
feel the other ones,
Not really. Yeah.
nothing touches TikTok. I know you guys
Yeah.
don't. You're a
I don't-
TikTok guy, yeah, but you're
Yeah, so I guess I'm a Reels guy, but I don't crack my knuckles and be all right, let's get ready
Yeah.
for a night of Reels.
right. But I will do that with TikTok.
Yeah.
where I'll just
Yeah.
keep
So I guess to your point, it hasn't worked. Really.
yeah,
But you do watch Reels on Instagram.
kind of by accident,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I get that.
So
Yeah, I'm never going through the discovery on
Right.
Reels.
But you will do discovery on TikTok?
Well, it's kind of all it is a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you have your For You page like you do for all the other apps. But when I'm on Twitter, I'd never use the For You. We talked about this last week.
Yeah.
TikTok's vice versa, where like the default is discovery mode, or whatever you call it. The follow or the For You. I mean,
what's the most popular content? Like, what do you guys think is the most popular content out there right now?
In what regard? I don't know.
Like, is it is it food content? Is it dancing like shit?
I feel like the dancing
trends
has gone down.
Yeah,
the trends in TikTok are always huge.
DIY.
it's I think it's like asking people questions on the street a little, like Talk-to-esque. You see a lot of those for TikTok. I have no idea because it all depends on.
It's whatever you like.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
so like I do get like cooking, DIY. I'll get some girls dancing. But it's
How did this
slide
get here?
that in there?
Yeah. Then and I'm not obviously the biggest NBA guy. My TikTok, for whatever reason, is loaded. And I always watch them, so I must like it, but it's always loaded with like podcast clips of people talking about the NBA.
There's some that sneak in there where like everyone gets it. Like, for example, like everyone's getting Jeff T clips, you know? That's probably what you
I got Jeff Teague, I got Steven Jackson's show. Like I get like a ton of NBA TikToks.
So what is that, like a backroom deal where they shake hands, or it's like push my shit? Or?
It's probably more like the general public seems to be loving Jeff T clips, so let's push it more towards the general public. But yeah, I've been getting I've had a great algorithm recently. One is Viva La Bam clips. People are like, dude, Bam would have owned TikTok. The one clip I see is him like refusing to let go of a hot air balloon, and April's freaking out, and Phil's pulling the rope using his dad's strength. And then it was randomly just former Bulls players' highlights, but like it didn't necessarily have to be highlights of them on the Bulls. So it was like Rondo, but then it was just generic Rondo highlights, like Kirk Heinrich and Luol Deng. Pretty great algorithm.
Yeah. I got one that was just
and girls dancing. So
like Mark Price. I had, like the last couple of days I've had like multiple like old heads being like, you guys don't know how good Mark Price was, and then it was just like Mark Price highlights. And it was like I know the name, but like he was like I think late 80s, early 90s. Like I couldn't pick him out of the lineup, but it was like guy looks like a weapon.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this kid just started off with Kirk Heinrich was a much better player than you remember, and I was like, oh, I'm hooked. Yeah, I'm watching all 5 minutes.
Bet he wasn't. I thought he was sick.
yeah, right. That was my point guard.
Yeah.
Do you, if you had to pick one though, Arby's or Taco Bell to try, which would you pick?
I'm not as like familiar with the Arby's menu, I would guess.
And
I
this
know
is
you guys
kinda
are
tailing
talking
off
about
of Tuesday's
the roast
yesterday,
beef or whatever. I would maybe Taco Bell because I love Mexican food so much.
Yeah.
So probably Taco Bell, but I don't envision myself trying either anytime soon.
Right, because I think you'd like Arby's more.
Really?
Yeah. Like I think you would find it.
I don't. I've never been on the Arby's train.
But I think just because
The curly fries look good.
Yeah, I think because he likes Mexican food so much, he might be let down by Taco Bell. Is what I'm saying.
What would Arby's be without their curly fries? I've said it once. I'll say it again. Do you like Arby's or do you just like curly fries?
You got to listen to yesterday's draft.
I will.
Because me and Max were hand in hand in defending Arby's.
Yeah. I do like curly fries. That's like one of those things where it's like, why does the shape of something make like I think about this with pasta all the time. Pasta is pasta. It's just pressed in a different shape, but like you definitely have opinions about what shapes you like the best, even though it's the exact same thing.
Yeah, but pasta makes more sense because some pasta is more of a pain in the ass to eat.
But like I would say the most common pasta probably, or at least in the top 3, is spaghetti. That's the hardest one to eat.
Yeah, but I think spaghetti is just because that has the name brand recognition. Like that had to be first on the scene. Like no way.
It's probably the easiest and most efficient to make.
Yeah, but no,
like putting it through the machine or whatever.
In no way can any human come up to be like, spaghetti's my favorite form of pasta. That's crazy.
But
right?
Yeah, I would agree. But it is. I would guess that it's the most common.
But I think that's like the original M&M was first, and peanut and peanut butter are better, like that kind of thing. Like I think they were first on the ground.
But it all
and people are like, wait, we could take this?
Tastes the same. I think the only thing is like, I think it matters for like sauce. And I'm not talking about like tortellinis or raviolis or stuff inside of it. That's like a different ballgame. But like if you have the little spiralized ones, like you're getting more sauce with every bite, most likely.
Yeah, there's something
So,
to that,
yeah.
for sure.
But
Do you agree with me?
Yeah, you're kind of getting.
Like if I had to
I don't-
guess, spaghetti
it's-
was the first mover in shaker, and that's why it's so popular.
Yeah, it's pretty chalk to be ordering spaghetti at like a nice Italian restaurant too. I feel like people wouldn't, if people do like spaghetti the most of their pastas, I feel like they wouldn't say it because it's just like a lame answer.
Yeah.
Even though it could be the truth. Cliches are the cliches for the reason.
Yeah. Right?
Can you order spaghetti at a nice Italian restaurant without getting weird
I
looks?
think you can.
Yeah, but I think now it's kind of moved on to it's always something different. Whether it be the sauce or
Yeah.
there's always something different. It's not just traditional spaghetti.
Yeah, they're throwing some
Not
like
a spaghetti and meatball.
Right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I love a spaghetti and meatball.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And I
There's
feel
this
like I'm being
place-
too harsh on spaghetti right now, but I think
There's this place in Lincoln Park that does these little they're like the size of a marble meatball,
yeah.
and they like sear them somehow, and then so like every bite you have like a little meatball bite in it in your spaghetti. It is so fucking good. Like I'll put that dish against like
Anything?
I don't know about anything, but it's a very
Yeah.
very good dish.
Yeah, I sometimes just feel like ordering spaghetti at a nice Italian restaurant is like ordering a ham and cheese sandwich at a deli.
Yeah. I would challenge someone out there to argue why spaghetti is the elite noodle.
I think it's probably the cheapest and most efficient to make.
Yeah.
Oh,
By the
reliable.
company
Probably.
itself.
All reliable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there spaghetti diehards out there though?
I think so. I've seen like people, especially like Italians, this is another like TikTok thing. But it's like, so when I was growing up, my mom always used to like break the spaghetti in half and throw it in the pot. And like, I guess real Italians like freak out
yeah,
if
they
you
don't
do
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
Because even like angel hair is better than spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just a thinner spaghetti.
Yes.
How about, brother, bucatini?
Yeah, hold on, let me look up
Bucatini's like a pipe. It's like a spaghetti pipe.
bucatini.
Spaghetti pipe.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah, it's just a little thicker.
yeah, but it has a hole through the middle of it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's better.
Straw, maybe. Spaghetti
Yeah.
straw.
That's better. Who's gonna argue that?
Brother, I brought it up.
I want the number one,
What do you think's number 2? Those little elbows from mac and cheese?
like the number 2 most popular.
Shape.
Penny.
Penne,
Rigatoni.
rigatone. But I feel like the shit, like the Velveeta, like for mass production, like what's the second leading seller? Noodle. I feel like it's either got to be the elbows or the shells.
Huh.
And there's something like worth noting. You're not really ever getting white sauce with plain old spaghetti, you know?
No.
So if I'm more of
Unless
a white
it's-
sauce guy, so
unless-
that might be the reason why.
Carbonara is probably close to having a white sauce.
Sure.
You know what I love?
Which is my favorite dish.
A good bow tie.
I think the bow tie's overrated.
Really?
Yeah.
I love a good bow
Okay.
tie. I think you want to talk about sauce. Like you get some up top.
You can
like,
capture some sauce with that
Exactly.
thing,
That's
yeah.
what's nice.
But I think the rotinis do that the best.
Yeah. Rotini does a great job with that too.
Yeah.
I like Rotini a lot.
The internet is saying the top selling pastas are spaghetti, penne, and fettuccine.
Fettuccine.
is
Duh.
flattened spaghetti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rotini is like what I grew up on. That's
Yeah, rotinis.
That's like all my mom made.
Yeah. Rotini's in
it.
good shape.
It is. I had something else. I have something that really bothers me. And you guys tell me if this is valid or not.
Okay.
Places, restaurants, back on these, need to stop jamming bars into their restaurant if it's not big, or if it's not made to be, not made to have a bar.
Okay.
Okay.
Got a specific.
Yes, I went to this Greek place, and it's like kind of like a quick self-service one, and it's a busy place, and there's a bar jammed into the corner, taking up like 22% of the place. Nobody's there. It's just not a place where you really go to drink.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not like, I guess I shouldn't have said restaurants, but I'm saying food establishments that shouldn't have a bar.
This is where it's like you got to call up Taffer.
Yeah, like why?
Because like I wonder if they're like, hey, like we actually, even though it looks not that busy, our markups on the alcohol is so high that it justifies it versus a markup on a bowl of
Spaghetti, yeah. And I get it, and I shouldn't have led with restaurants in general, because most restaurants there's need for a bar because people wait there,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where the overflow goes.
But it is annoying. Like there's an Italian place on Wells, on like the east side of Wells, and it's like they have a row against the wall that's like booths, and then the bar, and then like a back room. And like when people are getting up from the bar, like you can smell their farts if they're farting at their high top, and they're farting right into your booth.
It's
like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like every breakfast diner has a bar essentially, right?
I love that.
Me too.
I love
the counter.
I love the counter.
Yeah,
at
the
a
counter's
diner.
But they're not. Yeah, they're not even carrying alcohol.
No,
Yeah.
no.
But there are. You're right. There are some places. I forget what it's called, but it's basically like a fast food chicken place, and they just have like a bar in there.
Like, why you jamming a bar in
No one's sitting there, especially if you got a bartender working that thing full time. What's he making?
Yeah, dude.
Nothing.
Yes, I just hate when places jam a bar in there just to have a bar when it's like, dude, your restaurant's very busy. Like, you could use more tables.
That's fair. Get Taffer. But that's one of those things where I want Taffer to be like, yeah, that's a bad use of square footage.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that show still going?
It's got to be, right? I think he's opening his own bars.
Oh,
I
really?
saw, yeah.
He should have someone go in there and give him the business.
Yeah. Shut it down.
Bar Rescue's still on.
Wow. I feel like
They just renewed for a 10th season.
it's only been 10 seasons? I would have guessed it was way more than that.
If you would have told me 30, I would have been like, yep.
I feel like I remember it in like 2010.
So Taffer's Tavern, Alpharetta, Georgia. There's ones in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the
Nice.
Georgia,
Good for him.
Georgia Dome, whatever. And there's one coming to Orlando soon. That's got to be the most pressure situation.
Do not fuck this up.
Yeah.
That's my name on that thing.
I'm surprised you do that, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Well, you say the same about like Gordon Ramsay,
Yeah,
you know?
true.
Wolfgang.
Because you got to have good restaurants
Yeah.
if you're those guys.
Yeah, but no one would ever like pin it on them for that reason too. You know, if you got like if you got a bad meal at a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, you're not going to be like, oh, Gordon fucked up. You're going to be like,
Yeah.
oh, Gordon is going to fuck this guy up who made this for me.
I also feel like maybe this is just like an O'Hare bias, but like there's a Wolfgang's in many airports. Like I never expect when I'm at an airport to have like a good meal. Like why would you put your name on an airport restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
Unless like the marketing is just worth it.
Yeah, but why does that have to be?
Why does what have to be?
Like, why can't, why do we have such low standards for restaurants and airports?
Because that's not why you're there. You know?
Yeah,
It's
but
like I'm killing time. I'll have some fucking flatbread.
Yeah, it's like a bonus. You're not, because you're not really going out of your way for it. You're not like taking time out of your day, like, oh, we're making a reservation. You're grabbing a bite. You got other things to do, but you're grabbing a bite along the way.
I know O'Hare, at least, if you have a restaurant there, like they have to operate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are kind of just like,
It's same thing with stadiums too. Like because the United Center went through the thing where like Leghorn was in there. They had like some local, what's that taco place? Like
It was like the Little Goat or whatever.
Little Goat, I think
Yeah.
was in there. But like once you can have your name and you're like directionally your product, but they own and operate it.
They, as in the airport? Or something?
yeah, it's like you're
Yeah.
giving them the keys. It's a little scary.
Yeah.
You're like giving them everything.
Yeah.
And then they got to go.
What do they do? Just hire like a consulting
think
business,
it's
like
like-
how to deal with a restaurant?
Levy Foods or
Yeah,
whatever
whoever it
those-
is.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly who.
Here's another thought I've had because I feel like I've seen I feel like every airport has like a sushi restaurant. I've never been, and I like sushi, but I've never had the courage to try it because I'm like airport sushi. But
Yeah.
in reality, it should be fresher fish because it's flown in and just goes right there.
Yeah,
So is that going to be good sushi or is it like no? It's still the fucking airport.
I get your point. Is that's not why you're there, but that doesn't mean it has to be bad just because people are desperate. That's all I'm saying.
Right, but it doesn't have to be bad because people are desperate. But you are captive. Like
Yeah,
you have
very
like
captive.
just a few options. So like if it's bad, they're not going out of business. You know, you might be there next week and be like, the only spot I can get
True.
at the table is Wolfgang's. So
Yeah,
I'm
there's
going back.
there's no worry about
There's no need to compete.
no need for customer service.
Yeah.
There's no need for anything.
Yeah.
You could just have the most miserable asshole there.
I will say the new LaGuardia or the new JFK? One of the new, like the renovated New York airports has a couple of places that are awesome.
LaGuardia is
Especially-
renovated.
Yeah, especially for breakfast. There's like this one breakfast place. I'm like, this is like one of the better breakfast restaurants I've been to.
But like, you travel enough where if some of these places are good, you're like, all right, I'll see it at the airport. It's no problem. Versus like, I'm just going to wait.
You're right. Or it's like your flight's delayed. I'm not as angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Newark is one of them. They got one of those terminals that is just all like some generic bullshit.
Yeah.
And
Newark's
it's-
like shut down, I feel like.
Newark?
Yeah.
Yeah, something's going on with them,
Yeah.
right?
something's
Yeah.
up
They
there.
don't have enough like air traffic controllers or something.
And then I went to a different Newark terminal, and they had an Essa Bagel, that great bagel place we like in New
Yeah.
York. And then they had a bunch of other places. Like, whoa, like that's fine. You could count on that then.
Yeah. I mean, if I were them, I wouldn't feel the need to like other restaurants outside of an airport would be like, we got to get one of the best chefs. I know this guy. They're not really kind of reaching for those heights in a airport restaurant because they don't need to
Yeah,
Yeah.
waste all that money on like a chef from Italy or something.
yeah, I guess. But
Do you think that if you're a chef or a cook, do you think being like, I was a head chef at a restaurant in the airport, is that good or bad for your resume? Because it's like you gotta be getting food out quick,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. I don't know how much it would like be like, whoa, you must have good culinary skills then, but dealing with chaos,
efficiency,
definitely.
chaos. Yeah,
it's a good question.
yeah.
I don't know because it just doesn't feel like they care much.
I know, but like if you're like, hey, like I ran a tight kitchen.
Yeah, like managing people who are underqualified for the job.
Yeah,
that's-
that too.
Might help you get a job at like a hotel. Like if you've crushed like a restaurant or the airport,
Yeah.
you might be a good step into like a hotel chef or something.
Yeah, that's a good comp though. Like hotels don't have any reason to be better than just solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The continental breakfast.
Yeah, there's no reason
The nicer hotels though.
go above and beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I remember when I went to Puerto Rico, and I feel like I got catfished by the hotel website a little bit. Like it was just not that nice of a hotel.
that happens a lot.
Yeah. And then so we never really ate there. And it was like, fuck, like this is a disappointing, everything. But then you go down the road to a little bit like a 5-star hotel, and the food was like some of the best food I ever had in my life. It was like insane, like 12 courses, like it was a very expensive meal, but it was like this is what it should be. Like I wish I was staying here. I would just order room service and it would be incredible. And then I remember I was at a wedding in the South Loop of Chicago. I stayed at that kind of high-rise Marriott, and like on the Uber back from the reception, I ordered room service to have it like waiting, and it was like, I swear to God, the greatest grilled cheese of all time. Like if you can do like simple late night food like that well as a hotel, like that to me is better than being like a schwa. where
Yeah.
you're gonna
But even that, the bar is so low. Even if that was just fine, you would have never.
yeah, but it is like it's hard to have a memorable grilled cheese.
Yeah,
That
for
was
sure.
a memorable grilled cheese
sure.
at the South Loop Marriott.
There you go.
Yeah,
Shout out to the grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Grilled cheese at night.
yeah,
Yeah, might need to go back.
yeah.
We'll do a little
staycation.
Tour. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Try out their PB&J.
Yeah,
Coming soon, grilled cheese at the Marriott.
Yeah.
Maybe a little RB sandwich on the road.
yeah.
A little video there. Yeah, they just don't. There's not a ton of incentive.
Yeah.
Besides, if you hit it out of the. That's why I think the collabs are like probably pretty smart. Like the ones that have like an established place in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
At least you know what to expect.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like I think what is it? A lot of Holiday Inns have Bar Louis in them.
I think that
Yeah.
there's Bar Louis in somewhere.
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
at least it's like, all right, like I know
yeah,
what I'm getting.
yeah.
Versus sometimes it could be really bad. Sometimes hotel food could be really bad.
All right, how about this? When we did Chiclets Cup out in Vegas, we stayed at the Strat, which is like the worst hotel up there. It's on the way north end of the Strip. The only restaurant they had in the place that was open kind of late night when we were getting back was McDonald's. I got it, I think 3 different nights. Each time was the worst McDonald's I've ever had. And it's McDonald's.
That's
like you would
tough.
think that they would be able to replicate that. They couldn't. They absolutely fucking sucked
That's
at
tough.
it. Yeah.
And also, I should know Vegas is not the same. Like
Right.
Vegas is great restaurants.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And a lot of places do. Don't get me wrong. A lot of places, like that's why I'm sure. I've never stayed at a Ritz or anything like
Yeah.
that. I'm sure those places got great.
Yeah, like
food,
Four
too.
Seasons or what? Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just saying like a standard
yeah,
hotel that like.
yeah. Hampton Inn.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Even though Hampton, like low key, they do a good job staying in their lane.
They do. Well, Hampton Inn's a good time.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. They do a great job staying in their lane. All right, then. I think that's it, unless anyone has anything else.
That's it.
Dan?
Cover all the bases.
Lance?
I think we're good.
All right, sweet. That's it. Look out for that fast food analyst on the show tomorrow. I think you'll find it pretty interesting. I hope at least so. All right, that's it. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.